For surely thou art praiseworthy and magnified here in our midst forevermore. Amen.
Amen.
Will you please be seated? In the name of Allah, the Beneficent and Merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger and servant. I'd like to greet you all in the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language of our former ancients of days of Assalamu alaikum. And I'd like to wish you all a happy Saviour's Day. You know, we have invited you here to celebrate Saviour's Day. Okay, relax, you're amongst family. Okay, one thing with us as a people, you know, we kind of get stiff-necked, hard-hearted, and rebellious, as the scripture says. Okay, but let's relax. Okay, we're amongst family and friends. Many of us haven't seen one another for a long, long time, and we're very happy to be here. And the reason why we're here is to celebrate Saviour's Day. In the nation of Islam, we believe that Allah, God, appeared in the person of a man, and that man traveled 9,000 miles, and he woke up one man, and that man was the Honourable Elijah Muhammad. And we all know, majority of us have never seen the Honourable Elijah Muhammad, but we met the man that he left in our midst. And that man is the man that, if it wasn't for many of us in this room, we wouldn't be where we are today in the nation of Islam, or as a person, as a human being. And I talk of the most Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And I like to really say, you know, that many of us have grown up looking at Malcolm X, or looking at what he done, Muhammad Ali. But if it wasn't for Master Farad Muhammad traveling that 9,000 miles to come and find the lost sheep, and when I say the lost sheep of the scripture, the black people, the true Israelites, he traveled that far to wake us up and bring us back into a knowledge that will set us on a course back to God. And when I say back to God, I mean back to the original man. The original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, the God of the universe. You know, when I say the God of the universe, the original man, black man, you know, we have been brought into a teaching that resurrects. And if it wasn't for Master Farad Muhammad coming, we wouldn't be here. Many of you know Brother Leo Muhammad. He wouldn't be here. Many of you heard of the investigator, Brother Andrew Muhammad. He wouldn't be here. Many of you heard of our beautiful brother, Brother Floyd Muhammad. He wouldn't be here. Many people, many sisters, Sister Ava Muhammad in America wouldn't be here. So Saviour's Day, we celebrate. And I do not apologize in any way or fashion for that. Because I know without Saviour's Day, without Master Farad Muhammad coming all of those years ago, 1930, we wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. I may, to be honest, might be dead. And many of us know where we're coming from on the street. Many of us know that what the ups and downs that we've been on in the street. So I thank God for coming. I thank the Saviour. And you know, it's many of us have heard, you know, we watched the movies, 10 Commandments, and we think of the 10 Commandments in terms of the Jews and the fact that, you know, they're the Moses came and saved those people. But in the scripture, it only refers to that 400 years of slavery that they went through. But that 400 years, there's no, you'll have to bear witness to it for me, or maybe you can help me. But you think about it, 400 years. Who's gone through 400 years of slavery? I'm not standing up here. I want some response. You know, who can tell me who's which people have gone through 400 years of slavery. That's us, only us. It's only us that fit that bill. And the more you read the scripture, you find all of a sudden, you know, there's an Alvin Muhammad in there. There's a brother Leo Muhammad in there. There's a sister Muhammad in here. There's a brother Muhammad in there. There's many of us in here that fit that bill in the scripture. And Minister Farrakhan done a lecture not too long ago called The True Israelites. And if we can look up on YouTube and find and put a search in for that and find out more about that scripture than that study that minister did, because we need a re-education today. And so Saviour's Day, this is our second year here, and we want to make this regular as possible. We want to fill this room. And the more we strive to continue the work that we're doing in trying to raise the profile of black people, no matter where we're coming from. You know, we got some beautiful young men here. This is the future. And a lot of you may not think it. Don't be shy, brother. Don't be shy. You lot might not think it, but you are the future. You know? And if we don't change a mentality that is causing death and destruction out there, what future do we have? Everybody else is looking after themselves. The Polish man come yesterday, he's got shops on the street. The Somali man come yesterday, he got shops on the street. You got the Indian man, he sorted himself out. Everybody's got their network. No matter, and the fact of the matter is, no matter what belief they come under, they still support and work with one another. So tell me, why can't we do the same? Because everybody else feeds off our back. Everybody's feeding off our back, so why can't we do the same? You know, so I'm going to hand over to my brother to actually continue the program today. But just to say, I'm going to be the compere master of ceremony for today. All right, you're amongst family. So what I'm going to do is bring up my brother to just continue the program. And if you put your hands together to receive our beautiful brother, Brother Anthony Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, family. In the most holy name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger and servant. I'd like to greet you all, my beautiful family, brothers and sisters, with the greeting words of peace in the Arabic language, the language of our ancestors. We say Assalamu alaikum, and that simply means peace be unto you. Brothers and sisters, I'm very humbled to be standing here before you, and I thank you for this opportunity. I didn't quite know how to express how I felt about us having celebrating Saviour's Day for a second year in a row. So Allah inspired me to put together some lyrics. So I hope that it will sit well with you. Well, you can tell me what you think afterwards, by Allah's grace. Okay, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Brothers and sisters, Allah God, He is our Father. He is the one whom we all depend. He promised He would return for us. He is our Saviour and our friend. He appeared in the person of Master P.O.W.E.R Muhammad. He was born in Mecca in 1877. His aim, his purpose, and his mission on earth is to establish the kingdom of heaven. He travelled the earth for several years, searching everywhere to find a very special and unique people who became lost, deaf, dumb, and blind. The scriptures describe these people like their lost and wandering sheep, a people who lacked the knowledge of self, who were sedated and put to sleep. They are an extraordinary people who survived slavery over 400 years. Now Master P.O.W.E.R Muhammad is here today to wipe away the tears. His journeys were quite extensive,
he traversed the world both far and wide. He arrived in Detroit, Michigan in 1930, and it is here he chose to reside. He arrived in the Black Bottom neighborhood, among the despised, the rejected, and their ilk. He introduced himself. He went door to door, selling the people the finest silk. He taught black people their unique history. He illuminated them with the light of truth. He revealed the black man's identity in scripture with hard evidence and living proof. People's homes soon became overcrowded. The situation was getting quite absurd. Black people developed a passion and hunger for this unique and special word. It is a special word of power, a divine word of truth and light that has a message to the black man that can transform him overnight. It is a word of infinite power, a word designed to free a slave. It is a word to awaken the spiritually dead, to arise up and get out of the grave. It is the grave of ignorance, not the physical grave underground, specific to a people with no knowledge of self, to a people called lost found. Master Fard Muhammad's customers grew, his reputation spreading by word of mouth. His knowledge, his words of knowledge, truth and wisdom touched Detroit's northeast, west and south. He taught the truth and knowledge of Islam. He taught us how to say the original greeting. In the original tongue, Assalamu alaikum means peace, which we say to one another every meeting. In Detroit, he moved as wise as a serpent, and yet he was as harmless as a dove, choosing to be among the original people whom no one else had loved. Prophets and messengers have come for others, yet black people seem to be deprived. Today, Master Fard Muhammad is here for us. Our Saviour has arrived. The scriptures, all praises due to Allah. The scriptures, they are books of prophecy, written thousands of years before their time, revealing a meeting was going to happen, not by accident, but by design. It would happen in Detroit, Michigan, to a man educated to the 3rd grade of school. He was destined to meet the master, and his name was Elijah Poole. He was born in the year 1897 in Sandersville in the state of Georgia. Coming from slavery, poverty, and humble beginnings, soon the whole world would know Elijah. After 6,000 years living in Yaqub's world, suffering years of murder, lies, and tricks, the scriptures predicted Elijah would come. Read Malachi chapter 4, verse 6. He would turn the hearts of the fathers to their children. That is the prophecy, that is the prediction. He would turn the children's hearts back to their fathers and free us all from the furnace of affliction. Elijah Poole was taught for 40 months, given a knowledge and wisdom so supreme. Master Fard Muhammad then changed his name, and from then on he became Elijah Kareem. The 24 elders, they all believed the original man could not be saved. Our enemy had done a magnificent job keeping us all in a shallow grave. The prophets wished that they could be here. Some have paid the ultimate price. In order for us to win our freedom today, without victory, with victory comes sacrifice. Master Fard Muhammad's birthday is remembered every year because he caused in us a paradigm shift. He raised up one from among our people, and for us Elijah is the greatest gift. Allah our God has come today. He is here to correct our behavior. He has come for us. He makes all things new because all of us need a Saviour. Moving on, my time is up. I have little more to say. I pray you enjoy our program, and I wish you a happy Saviour's Day. All praises due to Allah. Thank you, brothers and sisters. That's all I have to say for now. I now would like to bring on the next speaker. This sister is greatly admired in the community. She's a very industrious sister, and I'd like you to give her a warm welcome please bring on Sister Sonia Muhammad.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and I bear witness that the most honourable Elijah Muhammad is his servant and messenger. I greet you all in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu Alaikum. Thank you. It's beautiful to see so many long-time believers and family. Thank you all for making the time to come here. It's fantastic to see new family, new faces that I haven't seen before. I would also like to thank all the believers who made today possible. The beautiful cuisine from the MGT. Wasn't it fantastic? Beautiful, thank you all. I just wanted to share that last week I was blessed with my family to go to Chicago for Saviour's Day. And it was fantastic. It was freezing cold. It started to snow on the day and we were standing out in the cold, but it was amazing. If you can get the chance to go to Saviour's Day, please do. It's something that we can't imagine, and I was saying to my daughter, this is heaven, because what you see is black people in love with each other and giving each other peace. So, you know, although it was cold, the minister electrified that venue. And his theme was, a Saviour is born for the whole of humanity, no one need perish. And we need to think about that. Because for many of us, we hear a Saviour, but we don't realise that we need saving. We don't realise it. Has anyone seen that video of the frog that's in the water? There's a video to watch. There's a frog that they put into a pot of cold water. And then they put the pot on the stove and they start to turn up the heat. And what happens is the frog just starts to kind of adapt to the temperature. And they turn up the heat some more and the heat some more. And they don't realise, the frog does not realise it's in trouble. It's actually boiling to death, but it thinks everything is fine. And that's what's happened with us. We think everything is fine. You know, there's school for our children, so it's fine. But that school is only there to keep the lies going and to make us feel that we can't live without our enemy. And that's part of our issue, that there is a Saviour, but we don't realise we need saving. But look around this room. Look at the talent just in this room alone. We can survive, and we've got all that we need to survive. So with the minister, he's given us, and the messengers giving us the teachings. With those teachings, it teaches us there was a theme around the whole of the Saviour's Day venue. Minister Farrakhan had it on every single balcony. And it said, love, honour and respect the black woman and protect the black woman. Yeah? Because if we're going to make it today, there's only one way that we're going to survive. And we have the teachings of the most honourable Elijah Muhammad that teaches a black man how to honour and respect that woman, and teaches us how to get back in track with our humanity. That's how we're going to survive as a family. So, you know, I pray and I know that you will find and hear something that inspires you. I encourage you to listen to Minister Farrakhan's Saviour's Day address several times. You can't listen to that just once. We need to listen to it again and again, because there's so much in there. There is nobody telling us the truth right now and telling the world the truth of who Satan is and how he has maneuvered in this world to make us fall in love with him. But now his time is over. It's time for us to fall in love with each other as black people. Time for us to show each other love and respect. So that's what I really wanted to share with you. Sorry, it was a bit impromptu. I didn't know I was speaking today. But I'm glad to see you all here. I pray you have a blessed, happy Saviour's Day. And I'd like to bring on our brother Leo Muhammad.
But just before things really kick off, you know, in the Nation of Islam, I don't know if any of you really know the history of the nation, but the nation has tremendous connection with the hip-hop generation. And we have tremendous connections throughout the music industry. A lot of the people that you see performing some of the more conscious stuff in the black world globally, they're connected with the nation, man, and they're inspired by the nation, and they get a lot of the stuff that they produce and the lyrics from the nation. Well, we got some people like that in this country as well. And I don't know if any of you can remember the Nation of Islam in the UK in its heyday. Can anybody remember? Yeah. In the 90s? Yeah. When we were shaking up Satan's world? Well, guess what? We intend to shake it up again. But one of those, all praise is due to Allah, one of those who was one of the movers and shakers back in the day on a musical level. He's here with us today. And this man, his voice is like a bird. It's like a bird. Have you ever heard a bird sing? Okay, so without any further ado, I want to introduce to you one of our pioneers in music in the Nation of Islam, West London. Please give it up, make some noise for our beloved brother, Brother Errol Muhammad. Please make some noise for this brother.
Greetings, family. How you doing? Happy Saviour's Day, everybody. Man, I just feel the melanin. Really, it tick up here. It tick. It's just so beautiful, you know, because I haven't seen the family for ages, you know, and just reconnecting, you know, to the wars, you know, and just the love back in the day, you know, where we are together, you know, we just fantastic with each other, you know. But yeah, just gonna present some musical works because our pure word, sound and power we are dealing with, not you. Yeah, so we're gonna just let off. Okay. You remember this? Somebody remember this? Here we go. Here we go. Dignity, where is your glow? Culture, I miss you so. Wah, wah, wah. Wah, yeah. They took us away from Africa, robbed us of our culture. You can sing that part. They took us away from Africa, robbed us of our culture. Dignity, where is your glow? Culture, I miss you so. Dignity, where is your glow? Culture, I miss you so. And that's what happens. We don't have no culture. We don't have no love. So what happens? We don't have no reflection. So our youths, they come and they take it to another level. Don't know nothing about themselves. Self-hate. Where did it come from? And where is it going? And who's responsible? And how can we stop it? Look how them thump on each other like a heart on immune disorder. They not recognize each other, don't see each one as a brother. How did it get to that? How do they feel about us? Well, will we do for them when we didn't do for us? Their destruction's happening, we do nothing. No, won't make a move and that's wrong. We cry, Lord. Cry, Lord. We cry, Lord. What we gonna do about it? Cry, Lord. We cry, Lord. Who really cares? Rain falls down like tears. Elders don't know nothing. Oh, I was suffering. I better get some protection. Street light got my attention. At school I do the detention. Home life, not intervention. We should have organized the street 3-4 times a week. Be out on the street, cool down the heat. Sit down with our youngest, they've got so much younger, uncles and elders. our youth with love, our vibes in the street. We cry love, cry love. We cry love. What we gonna do about it? Cry love. Said I will let them down. When we do nothing, they can't turn it around. They might be little. We can take the past to understand how we got here. Don't stop there. It take a little piece of each one of us to get here. Everybody put a little money in a local, cause we got the blood of our youth for the vocal. Everybody put a email and the vocal. Let's make our love strong. Love them everyone. Get back where we belong. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's make our loving strong. Love them everyone. Get back where we belong. Let's make our loving strong. Love them everyone. Get back where we belong. Oh, let's make our loving strong. Love them everyone. Get back where we belong. So it's our youth. System can't help them. Nobody could help them. Nobody could help us. It's just us. Yeah, it's just us for us. But we move on. Thank you. This one is called We Honor You. Give thanks and praises to the ancestors. To tell your story, celebrate your glory. As time goes on, we understand you fulfilled your part. How you began to this journey, we don't even understand what it's been. Not enough to get where we're going. You struggled on in a place I didn't want you. You struggled on, you did it for us. You struggled on, nobody here for you to lean on. Yeah, here for you, but you did it for us. Who knows how long it's gonna take till we come together. We all talk about it, but we just can't seem to make a change. But now with more understanding, our life reflects what our history has been. Did what you could, the best you could, to move us on. But you struggled on in a place that didn't want you. Hey, you struggled on. You did it for us. You struggled on. Nobody here for you to lean on. Hey, but you struggled on. Hey, you did it for us. We must remember you because of all you do and all who came to know you. We would honor you because of what you went through. It's up to us to do right by you. We give respect to you because of all you do. We honor, yes, we honor, yes, we honor you. There's always more that all of us can do. Got to keep on pushing and just push on through. Yeah. Nobody here traveled on. Yeah, you did it for us. So them sing, sing along. Chariot, we're moving to an exodus. We're going, chariot home. Oh yeah, yeah. Ooh. Oh. Ooh. We will never forget you, no. No, 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 no. No, no. You paid your price. Now it's up to us. It's now our turn. We gotta keep it going and moving on. Don't fade, don't fade.
Coming for to carry me home.
Thank you very much, family.
Come on. Put your hands together for our beautiful brother. Listen, absolutely awesome brother. To continue the program today, you know, this event, the title of it is Exodus, Movement of Just People. You know, we had our beautiful brother Robert Nesta Marley sing that song, but maybe we didn't pick up on it, you know, and it's time that somebody came along and thought, you know what, I'm gonna try and fulfill that. So I'm gonna bring up my beautiful sister, because she has actually put together a beautiful program that helps us get back home. Put your hands together for Sister Shanice.
Greetings, family. Happy Saviour's Day to one and all. I'm honoured to be asked to speak just for 5 minutes to you about, on the theme, Movement of Jah People. Exodus, Movement of Jah People. Well, I am sure that there isn't a single person in this house that hasn't been made very aware of the recent deportations, the big hullabaloo around deportations. If you look at even quite recent statistics, you'll find that over 500,000 so-called immigrants have been deported from the USA. Here in the UK, hundreds of Jamaicans are deported every year, thousands of immigrants sent back to Ghana, Nigeria, Guyana. They're even imposing sanctions on countries that are refusing to accept their immigrants, and they don't want to take back one of theirs. But that's another story. So I say all of that to say this. We can't get too comfortable here. I think every family, every African family should have a second home, either here, a second home, either in Africa or the Caribbean. So that if a member of your family is deported, they've got somewhere to go. Well, the good news is, for those of us who are actually born here in the UK and maybe have never visited Africa and maybe, you know, want to explore other countries other than the Caribbean, the good news is that most African countries are welcoming us back home with open arms. They are saying to us, the descendants of those kidnapped people, come home to Africa. The resources is here for you. The land is here for you. The business opportunities are here for you. And I had a friend who was traveling backwards and forwards from Zimbabwe, and she was always telling me to come, and eventually I decided, you know what, I'm going to go and visit. And that was in 2016. And when I saw Zimbabwe for myself, I couldn't believe how beautiful the country was. I mean, for those of you that read about Zimbabwe, it's probably the last place on your bucket list that you would want to go. Well, let me tell you, those reports are alive from the pit of hell. Zimbabwe is beautiful. That was I visited in March 2016. By September 2016, I was back again and I was taking 25 people with me. The following year, that's last year, 2018, I organised another trip and I took 35 people back with me, 60 people in total. The trip I organised is in conjunction with the Zimbabwean Tourism Board over here and the Zimbabwean Authority in Zimbabwe. The ministers of Zimbabwe have endorsed those trips. There are business opportunities, we have business events, so you don't only on these trips get to tour the beautiful country of Zimbabwe, 5 cities in total: Harare, Masvinga, Bulawayo, Hwange, where the wildlife is, Masuya-Tunya, one of the wonders of the world. It's an amazing opportunity, and you know what? There's land there and there's business opportunities there. Check out Mitchell & Mitchell, a European agricultural company, was in existence in Zimbabwe for 5 years. By the time Mugabe came and he kicked them out, they were turning over 50 million per annum. So that's why they're crying about being kicked out of Zimbabwe and South Africa. These are multi-million-pound industries, and you and I have the opportunity to take up some of these businesses. You and I have the opportunity to be creating the jobs that our children so desperately need and that our brothers and sisters in Africa so desperately need, because the brain drain is draining Africa of all of its intelligentsia. Okay, so there are many of us that might want to visit somewhere like Zimbabwe, but maybe some of our family and friends have been so indoctrinated by the media they don't want to go with you, and so maybe you just don't have anyone to go with. So that's why these trips are really great for people who want to come up, and there's a presentation with some of the people who have joined me on those trips. Just to say that me and my partner, we're also doing farming over there now, and who knows, in a few years' time, we'll be creating jobs for our people here. On the first round of farming, we had 27 casual workers working with us. We had 5 full-time employees. These included a project manager, an agronomist, a farm manager, and a farm supervisor. My time is up, so if you want more information about the trips to Zimbabwe, the next one is in October. You just leave a £200 deposit. There's a payment plan, 500 by the end of April, 500 by the end of June, and a final 550 in July, and then you're good to go. Here's the flyer. I'll make sure that you get a flyer by the end of the day. I'll take your contact details and I'll be in touch. One love, family. Africa awaits us.
Okay. Continue the program. You know, when you actually think about traveling back to Africa, you know, we've been told a lie, you know, and it means we have to investigate, you know, investigate that which has happened. And you know, what was the old saying? If you want to hide anything from a black man, put it in a book. You know, and we've been bought a lie, and you know, to help us make that connection, we have to go and investigate. You know, we have to investigate, find out more, and for our sister, you know, it's beautiful that, you know, there's trips, there's avenues that we can make that connection. Also, you can catch my sister on Galaxy Radio. Okay, so always, you know, look out for her on there, and you know, it's beautiful that she's here to explain and to present that connection. To continue our program, I'm going to introduce another beautiful sister, and this sister's been in the nation for 30 years. She's a metaphysicist, or physician I should say, metaphysician, yeah, and she deals with holistic healing. You can say, you know, the energy, you know, our people, we got energy, haven't we? Our sister does beautiful spiritual healing, energy, yoga, which, you know, get back in touch with the inner soul. Many of us have, you know, they have that where your body can go into two entities. You know, you can. A lot of us, our second part is out there. We want to get it back in. You know, and this sister can help us get back in tune. A lot of the time, you know, there's other outside forces, you know, that we're focused on. But we want to get back in tune with ourselves. Our sister here, Dr. Atia, will help explain more. If you please. Put your hands together for our beautiful sister.
I bear witness to the oneness of God, and I bear witness to the oneness of His prophetic community. Please allow me to greet you, my beloved brothers and sisters, in the green words of peace and paradise of Assalamu Alaikum. The minister would love this. I lived in Chicago for a year at headquarters. Some of you may have seen me. I have ministered on the webcast several times. I've actually been in Europe for about 5 years now. So I came from America via the Caribbean, via the Republic of Ireland, and now I'm here in England in Worthing. And I would like to thank Brother Leo Muhammad for the opportunity to share with you what I'm doing here. So I'm grateful, thank you. I am hosting an awakening and healing retreat in the beautiful town of Worthing, which is by the sea. Now, I don't know about you, but every time I come to London, everything is hustle and bustle and rush, 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 rush. But it's important to be still. And the brother talked about how so many of us are trying to get ourselves back. I do what is called a process or an assessment, which is called soul fidelity. So I help people to connect to the North Star in their life. When the minister told me years ago that I reminded him of Harriet Tubman, I didn't understand it then, but now I understand it. Because one of the things I do for us in particular is help us to point each one of us to the North Star of our life. There's a higher self and there's a lower self. But I want to point you to that higher self. I want you to rise your level of thought process. I want you to elevate your thinking, because thought carries weight. And you can think yourself into existence, just like Allah did, created himself out of triple darkness. And so before I go, because I'm not going to take up a lot of time, I want to invite each and every one of you who are able to come. Now let me briefly tell you about this retreat, because I have sisters who's in the ministry coming from Chicago. I have people coming from America. It's a 5-day, 4-night retreat. However, that is really targeting people from different parts of the world. For those of us who are in England or Europe, we also have 2 days. We have on March 20th, a Women's Empowerment Day. There's workshops, there's lunch, there's beautiful fellowship. And then on the 21st, celebrating spring equinox, releasing the old and embracing the new, we also have a holistic wellness fair. We have a retreat for the day where there's workshops, there's the holistic wellness fair, and there's tables. We do have some tables, so if there's anyone here who does anything with holistic health, art, energy work, travel, because that's healing, I invite you to come. So in my closing, thank you for taking this time to listen to me, but in my closing, some of you may remember the Final Call newspaper where there were some sisters on the front, all in white, and there was one sister who had a yellow scarf on. And across the paper, the minister said he will send saviors out into the world. I am so grateful and I am so honored to have been able to travel throughout the world to make friends for Muhammad. And a lot of times, see, everything is not always as it appears to be. So a lot of times people don't even know I'm in the nation by my physical being, but you can always tell a tree by the fruit it bears. I don't have to be in a white garment or a brown garment or a tan or whatever. It's my spirit. It's my way. It's my light. And it's your light. Because all of us have energy. All of us have an aura, a light body. And I can see you all, just like some of you can see me. That's what I want to help you to do. Remove the moss so that you can begin to now open your third eye and to begin to see things from the spiritual level and not the physical, because behind every physical reality is a spirituality, and you got to get back to spirit, because by his spirit saith the Lord. That's right. So thank you for listening. As I greet you in peace, Assalamu alaikum.
Come on, put your hands together for our beautiful sister, Sister Dr. Ayita. Okay, just listen to my sister, I was thinking, you look outside and it's beautiful weather out there. And how does that change our spirit? Come on, how does it change our spirit, how we feel? I work outside, I work out in the cold. When it's freezing cold, my fingers are like this, trying to play with wires and climb ladders and all manner of things. And it's cold, and many of us, we would like, when the weather is bad, we're kind of like, we're vexed. What they call it, sad disease? Yeah? We know what sad disease? So, when we see the sun now, we're blessed. This time of the year, we're supposed to be wrapped up. Wrapped up. Now, God has blessed us to open up the pores and let the melanin flow. You understand? It raises spirit. And that's what we want to do, is raise our spirit. Get back to the true self, the true God himself. When we look in the mirror, really, what do we see? Do we see Alvin? Do we see Shanice? We don't even really know who we are. Because we've been brought up by who? Not God. We've been brought up majority of the time by our slave master and their children. So we've never been in our real frame of mind. We want to get back in tune with ourselves. So we've got to look deeper, deeper. So to continue our program, I'm going to bring up, in the nation we have soldiers. We're all soldiers, and one of the biggest soldiers in the nation here in London, I'm going to let him do all the talking. But if you want to put your hands together to receive our brother Khalid Muhammad.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the messenger and apostle of Allah, and his divine reminder in our midst today, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan Muhammad. I greet you in the greeting words of peace and paradise of Assalamu alaikum. How are we doing, brothers and sisters? Happy Saviour's Day to you. Praise be to Allah. The sun is shining. I think they've missed the season, so they've missed out, what, spring? Yeah, summer just comes straight away. And praise be to Allah that our brother gave us this subject of Exodus, movement of Jah people. And as you look into the scriptures, just picture this. 400 years under oppression, murder, brutality. 400 years. But look at us today, we're still here. We're supposed to have been wiped out. So what it is about us that we just don't die, we multiply. So there's a power within us that is so powerful, we haven't tapped into it as yet. And as we come to this point of going forward, you can see there's a change in the world. There's a change in society. But you come from the Bible, there was a conspiracy within the Bible when Pharaoh said, let's deal wisely with them. In case they multiply and have children to come against us. Let's kill the male and spare the female. Look at the parallel of what was in the Bible and what is happening today. We're dealing with a wickedly wise Caucasian. I'm telling you now, we have to now understand what's going on. Because what we know now is so great that as black people, if you want to open up a school, that's racism. Yes? Go to Acton. They've got a Japanese school. I never heard no one said anything about racism. You want to have your own university, you want to have your own shops, you want to have your own businesses, but yet they say you're practicing racism. The reason is they know what time it is, but do we know what time it is? Especially what they're doing to our young youth. Remember what I said? You multiply, then you may join on to an enemy and come up against him. So he has to come up with a plan to make you now see your brother and sister as an enemy. So you're fighting or stabbing each other for borders. But the true quality of God is buried in you. You're not who you think you are. You are greater than who you think you are, but you haven't tapped into that spirit of strength. What did God do in the beginning? He breathed into man and woman of his own inspiration. So in you now is the mind of God. But because we're not connected to that spirit, we're not connected to ourselves, then we don't bring out the spirit and the way of God. We're trying to read, to occupy, and have in us the mind of God. That's what we're here for. Because the Bible says, ye are all gods, children of the Most High God. So you can make things happen for yourself in your life. It is paramount that you, my young brothers and sisters, look now, because the future is yours. You don't see it, but the white man sees it. That's why he has to come and attack you now, because you're coming into fruition now. You're coming into being now. In South Africa, they've done the same thing in the 80s. They arrested all the young because they didn't want the young to now get big and become revolutionaries. So it's the same thing with you today. You can't turn all your energy on your brother who came through the same struggle, whose parents came through the same struggle as you came through, as we came through. When you kill a brother, you are killing a soldier. When you kill a brother, you're looking in the mirror and you're killing yourself, because on the battlefield, you're going to need that man. You're going to need that man. Strength is not by going in the gym and showing how strong you are, your muscles. The true strength is here. Here. That's why in boxing, they always go for the head. Because when you get hit in the head, you're knocked out. You're knocked out. So today, what you smoke goes to your brain. That's why in the teachings, we have something called how to eat to live. And within how to eat to live, you have to purify yourself. No drinking, no smoking. Why? Because you've got to bring a new life into the world. So if you've got to bring a new life into the world that is going to represent you as a young man, your child cannot be diseased. The same with the sisters. She has to purify herself. So when you young brothers grow up and decide now you're going to have a family, your intestines should be clean. Because you know what you're going to do? You're going to give birth to a God. And you don't think this works. It works. Try and test it. See it. I should know, because I did that with my children. Before you go with the sister, you've got to have a different mindset. Your system has to be clean. Her system has to be clean. You've got to know what kind of child you want. Then when the sister falls pregnant, you know the best thing for her to do is read books of inspiration. Because remember, in slavery, what the Caucasian did in order to put fear in us, and a lot of us are fearful today, he had to get 150 pregnant women upside down, hanging on a tree, and cut her from her vagina to her breast. And while the others are looking on, pregnant, he would stomp on the head and turn his feet into the ground. Because he knows psychologically he was putting fear in us. In all those unborn children, he was putting fear in them. So today we've grown up psychologically afraid. Today now we are disrespecting each other on another level, not the level God made us to be. Today you've got to be able to treat the black woman right. As black men, we got to become men again. Where is Shaka Zulu? Where are those strong warriors? Where's Hannibal? Soldiers. That's what you are. You're a soldier. Even the Christians say, onward, Christian soldiers. We can say, onward, Muslim soldiers, righteous soldiers. We can say this, but we have to process it up here and believe that you're a soldier. Respect the black woman. She's been through a lot for us. Listen, I came from a single mother family. My mom worked hard to bring me up and my 3 other brothers and sisters. She worked hard from can't see in the morning to can't see at night just to allow us to be able to go to school. Today, the same thing is happening. But what is happening now, the brothers are not seeing their mothers in the right light. Remember, they're trying their best. But you've got to be able to say, that's my mother. Without her or your father, without them, I would not even be here today. When it's your birthday, don't go to mum and say, Mum, what did you get me for my birthday? No, bring her something and say, thank you, man, for bringing me here. Change it around. Not always want, try to give. Give. And understand the conditions that we're growing up in today is totally against us. We're walking in somebody else's mindset. You understand? Somebody else's mindset. We talk like them. We eat like them, fish and chips. We go to football matches and we say, oh, this is how we speak. Oh yeah, we bought such and such the other day. They wouldn't even let you in the boardroom. Oh, we bought what's his name? Perez or somebody. We bought, you putting yourself in the equation. That's not your team, that's not your thing. That's somebody else's thing. You only paid to go to the match. About we, and we won today. And our manager is no good. No, we're going to buy this manager. Where are you in this? Where is your own things? Then you can say, look what we've got. Go to Southall, you won't find one shop with a Caucasian man in it. You won't find one shop with a black man in it. All the shops are Indian. And look at it, you got Sikh, Hindus, and Gujarat or whatever, but they're all doing what? Business. I go as far as Cornwall. Indian man's got shops down in Cornwall. The man cannot speak the language. He's trying to explain to me what time he wakes up in the morning to what time he leaves the shop, and he gets a white man to come and bear him witness. And he can't speak properly. But the man's got 2 shops out in Cornwall. No matter where they're needed, they'll go. Because they deal with nation. And that's what we need to do. Nation, man. We got some of the most brilliant minds, man. We're not dumb. The white man said we're not dumb. We're not dumb. We just don't know how to use this. It says God's throne sits on water. Do not separate yourself from the Creator. You can do anything you want today on the planet. You have to get up tomorrow and you say, I'm going to do this, and go for it. There's going to be obstacles in your way. You're going to trip over a few times. But if you want that thing hard enough and your desire is there, you will go and get it. No one can stop you. No one. The Creator never made you like that. If you were God, you go for everything. A body at rest remains at rest unless acted upon by an external force. And I'm telling you, we need to get that energy from each other so that we can keep going forward. Brothers and sisters, I'm telling you, this is our time. Let us not waste it. Let us really and truly start to love one another. Love is not this love, kiss and all that, oh I love you baby, and then you sitting on this chair at home watching football. Love is about going out to do. If you believe in something, you have to do. I believe, I like football. If you like football and you play it to the best of your abilities, man. Play it to the best of your abilities, but look at life on more of a serious level. Because it's your time, it's our time. We must go free. Now, there's no other time. We must go free, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.
I'll make hands together, Brother King Muhammad. Okay, to continue the program, I'm going to introduce a beautiful brother. He's dealing with reparations and other subjects, business development, and he created a little organization called the Solution Room. I'd like you to put your hands together to receive our brother Dean Oki.
Thank you, family. Assalamu alaikum. Happy Saviour's Day. We're blessed to be here today. And the reparations that I speak about isn't the economic part. It's the repair of the mind. Yes. Because you don't have any swing over the economic part right now. But you have to start today. So when we say exodus of your people, we separate from them. The most beautiful thing you can do for your mind is to extrapolate Europeans, Asians of either part from your psychological matter. That's the greatest repair. That's the first freedom. Then you got to renounce everything that is here that you're a part of, that you get short-term gains from white supremacy. So as you see me here standing, whether you come to my shop, whether you see me talking somewhere, there was a time when I had no thing. I had shops in West Norwood and I had burglaries, and I decided that I'd get a job for 6 months, and then I didn't do anything. I invested in me. I decided to become a gardener to grow a seed. So when you're a gardener, don't look for consumers. Look for fellow gardeners to garden with. Look for men and women of a similar ilk, because they're the only ones who are going to help you. Nothing that you get from their system is real. The tax that we pay since we were invited to build in the Windrush went to paying our enslavers, and that was all paid back in 2015. And the minute that was paid back, we were surplus to requirement. So when Asians are doing their thing, don't worry about them. Worry about you. Take all of their brand names out of your mind and remember our brand names. Forget about boycotting anybody's business. Know your businesses. Know your businesses. And in knowing your businesses, as a consumer, you become that gardener in growing the seed. Seeds are precious. Babies start as seeds. The embryo grows, it germinates, and then we deliver them. These young men here, young men who see themselves a million miles from me. So you think that postcode wars is new? Not that. When I was in North Peckham, and we went to Aldeas, we carried weapons, and we fought. And every single one of those Aldeas, there will be a CS gas attack. And if you're in a house party, there was a CS gas attack, and there were stabbings, and there were beatings. And I'm talking about 26 years ago. This isn't new, but we can't complain about the same things. The thing that saved me was reading Malcolm X at 17 years old, because it doesn't matter how far left I went, I would always come back to a center. He said two things: wear the watch, not the time. Respect yourself as a man. Dress as a man and act like a man. No time in my life did I ever forget that. That I am a man. You think any European can stand up next to me, look like me, think like me, know spirit like me? But when I was 17 years old, I was a million miles from where I am. At 18 years old, I moved back to my old area where all my friends were petty criminals. And there was no roadmap to show me where I needed to go. So I made it up from scratch. So it's incumbent on us as men who know to come together as gardeners. There's a universal system that works for young men. It's called rites of passage. WYLA is rites of passage. Origin is rites of passage. Manhood Academy is rites of passage. Wherever it's delivered,
And it's not whether you are from a 2.5 child family, whether your parents are married. It should be universal for us. For this reason, it teaches you to be culturally competent. It gives you high identity, self-esteem. And if you don't have those things, you are nothing. Not in this country, in this world as a man. We're obligated to observe our culture, promote our culture, and uphold it. Because without it, you are absolutely nothing. Us walking around calling each other black, we didn't create that. Yes. So you're an African, wherever you're from in the diaspora, and I'm not talking about your Caribbean boat stock, because again, that was inherited. This is not where we're from. We're Africans first. And I'm humbled to be invited by my brother, Leo Muhammad, as an African, because I'm not in the nation. I'm a Pan-Africanist. But know one thing, the nation is my family. And I don't say that lightly. And I know the fruit. I see them everywhere I go. And the fruit is strong. And for the young men who are weak out there, seek strength. Stand next to strength as an African. Don't ever separate yourself. So the reparations we're looking for starts here. Yes. I'm free. I'm stronger than you. I cannot articulate you. I cannot theorize you. I cannot work you. And what I personally know, I cannot suffer you. And when I don't suffer you, I'm gonna last. You don't have that. Europeans don't have that. You know what Europeans have in their chest? Suicide. And the closer you come to Europeans, the more you align yourself with them, the more mentally weak you become, the closer you come to jumping from the bridge. So the greatest reparation you can have is to rescue your mind and join us as Africans and serve your community because you're obligated. Thank you, family.
To continue that theme of reparations, there's a reparations march that happens every year, and the brother that actually part of the organization for that, our beautiful brother Kwaku. You put your hands together to receive our brother. Thank you.
Otep, Greece is the creative force of the universe that has many names. Olodumare, Nkulukunkun, Kwame Blafoshe, Mungo, Amenra, Alaja, Ashe, Asheo. Well, the first thing that I want to say to the nation, we don't have class.
Thank you, brother.
We don't have class, man, because we bring up in this pretty hotel here. But you know they treat black people, the man always give it the bad room, look at. Something crack up. Man, it drop down pan way. You know, I'm here to talk about the first of Messiah. And I don't have enough time to speak about reparations and all the things you done, why you should come and all the rest of it, and this and that, because they only give me 5 minutes. I'm just like Leo. Oh, you can give me 5 minutes. But the march was created in 2014. And a lot of people have some disparities about the march. Why are we marching? You know, them knowing that the thing about it, people have a lot of disparities about the march and saying, why should you march? You know, they're not in parliament at the time. You know, like Brother Dean said, and the other brothers that was up here, and the queens that was up here, it's not about them, it's about galvanizing ourselves. Yeah? We are Africans who are in the diaspora, and we're Africans that have different ways of finding the truth. Our brothers who are the nation, they're going via the nation of Islam. Me, I go via African spirituality and Pan-Africanism. There are other Africans who are going via Christianity. There's other Africans, they might go via the dance. I don't know they might go reach through the dance, but they might go that way there. Yeah? And so we're different people. But when the enemy comes to us He don't care. Yeah, what part we're coming from. He knows what we look like. You understand what I'm saying? When the police stop you young man in the road, does he ask you your religion? No. He don't ask you whether you're Christian, Muslim, Jew or anything. He knows you're an African. And that's why I'm stopping him. You understand what I said? So it's not about that. You know, the march is just an aspect of the reparations movement. The reparation movement is global. It's on the continent of Mama Africa, it's on the continent of America, it's on the continent of the Caribbean, and it's here in Europe. But the march is just an aspect of that. It's the part that gets us all together. Because look, you're doing Saviour's Day today, and there are other African events that's going on throughout the year. And August the 1st is when we all come together for unity. You know, when Brother Leo called me and said, brother, you know, I need you to come and give a message to our people, I was thinking, what was it I was going to say in 5 minutes? When we can say really. And it's something that I say to people when I speak about relationships. You see, can anybody tell me what's the success behind a relationship? Any relationship? Trust, communication, understanding. Anybody else? Love, young people? What do you think? What's the key to a relationship? Loyalty. Those are all good things. But none of them, transparency, the Queen said. Well, Queen, I can give you something for what? Where there, Yorkshire? Where there? Wordy. I can give you a wordy something for what wording with. The key to any relationship is those things, but more importantly is what you don't like about the other person in the relationship. Yeah, I'm saying to you, I want you to repeat this after me. The key to a relationship. I want you to know. Let's start again. The key to a relationship. It's not what you like about the opposition. It's what you don't like. Because if you can put up with what you don't like, say it. What you like, take care of itself. Now, my brothers, who is the nation, you know, and we speak clear to each other. We speak African. We don't speak Frank, because we're not German. So we speak African to each other. Everybody know that I'm a strict African spiritualist. That's me, straight up and down. Me not deal with nothing else. But I know my brothers, them, you deal with something else. So I don't deal with that. I do what Malcolm said. He said, listen, black people, when we come to sit down together, and I'm paraphrasing here now, putting my little piece in. Sorry, Malcolm. When we come to organize to defeat our enemies, let's put our religions in a cupboard. Keep it between you and the God you serve. Because if we start talking about religion, we start disagreeing from the offstart. We're Africans, bottom line. I don't love you because you're Muslim, Christian, or Jew, Gentile, or whatever. I love you because you're an African. In Israel, you hear them talk about Palestinians. Oh, the Israeli them is abusing the Palestinians. What you don't hear them telling you is that they're abusing the Ethiopian Africans who are there. Because nobody loves the African. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah? Because how you deal with me will determine how the enemy deals with you. Remember that. I would die for you, and I don't even know you. You understand me? I said to you? And that's how you lot got to think amongst yourselves. Because only you can solve the problem that's out on the road. We can assist you, but only you can solve it. Yeah? And you have to be strong. So when you come here and you see elders here, trust me, we're soldiers, you know. We got the battle scars. Yeah? There's nothing that UNO. In fact, I think we were more soldier than you lot. Because we never run from police, we fight them. Yeah? And we got evidence to prove it. Yeah? We got evidence to prove it. We fight them. In days when you couldn't stand up and chat to a policeman and tell you, whoa, 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 whoa. You couldn't say that to police them. What? They get a truncheon, rude boy. You understand me? So, you know, when you hear elders talking, King, yeah, because you are our extension into the future. That's who you are. Never forget that. You have a responsibility to continue the battle. You understand what I'm saying? And so it's important to listen. Yeah? And hear what I'm saying. Listen and hear what I'm saying. Because you can hear something but you're not listening. You understand? And so the march every 1st of Messiah is from Windrush Square in Brixton to Parliament Square. And it's about all the different African organizations coming together, you know, for us to galvanize ourselves. And we're not begging them for reparations. Let me just tell you that. We're not begging a white man. It's my time now. We're not begging no white man for reparations. We're putting a demand on them for reparatory justice. Yeah? That's what we're putting a demand. Because the reparation is only us. We can repair ourselves. It's repairing the damage that has been done. And only we can do that. Most people think reparations is about money. It's not about money right now. We're giving them a chance to redeem themselves. Because when the time comes, when these young men them, and I'm telling you, learn science, biology, chemistry, robotics, artificial intelligence, yeah, honestly, something kill out them backside. Learn science. Devise the mechanism to defend your people, because they're genetically annihilating us. Yeah? They can kill us via our DNA. Yeah? Now there's a Stop the Maangamizi petition that supports the reparations march. It's online. Stop the Maangamizi. MAANGAMIZI.com, and you can sign the online petition. There's a number on there, or you can go to reparationsmarch.org and you can find a number on there and you can contact us. There's works going on in Europe via the Stop the Maangamizi campaign. We're in universities challenging them. We're challenging them on the European and international levels. Reparations work is going on, but don't think it's gonna happen. Coming now. Don't think it's gonna happen now. We're just preparing the foundation for you to take power. Because this is what it's about. It's not about money. It's about power. It's not about money, because once you get the power, the money comes. This is about power, and power comes from knowledge.
I want to thank all of our speakers, our guest speakers today. Thank you so much, Sister Taya, Sister Shanice, and all of those who came up. Brother Dean, thank you so much. You know, everybody is busy. Everybody has got time constraints and things that they need to do. And believe me, we don't take it for granted having you here today. Young men, believe me, you made a good move when you came here today. It is critically important that you young brothers really appreciate who you are. You don't know, the enemy knows who you are. And when he sees you, he sees the end of his future. And you all got to stop playing into their hands by walking up and down like fools, killing one another. And get that knowledge into your heads and get that feeling in your heart for your brothers and for your nation, because your time has come. That's right. The 21st century belongs to you, but you can't own it without knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So you got to be prepared to come into environments like this and take some words, because we have a tradition in the African tradition, which is young men for war, old men for counsel, and we always consult the elders. Don't be foolish, brothers, and say, I don't want to hear from no old people. Stop it. Stop it. It don't work like that. You will lose, because you're dealing with a scientist here. I'm talking about the enemy, and he scientifically is working on us as we speak. Beloved family, I thank you so much. I really want to thank the mighty F.O.I. The F.O.I. of the Nation of Islam London Study Group. Thank you, brothers. Thank you for your hard work in making this possible. I want to thank the mighty MGT, the women of the Nation of Islam London Study Group. Brothers and sisters, did any of you have anything to eat? How was the food? Come on, man. That's the black woman cooking. Cooking up a storm. Thank you so much, sisters. I want to thank all of you for making the journey today. And I have to say this, you know, because I'm built to say something to you today. But in truth, we did also say that we wanted to hear from Saviour's Day in Chicago, and in particular, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Now, I have to say this, brothers and sisters, because, you know, we sometimes make a mistake as a people, in that we like to just look at the latest thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? We like to look at the latest thing, but we don't make the connection between the latest thing and where the latest thing got its root or its foundation from. And this man, Minister Louis Farrakhan, and I'm saying to all of us in here who love to quote Malcolm, who love to quote Khalid, who love to quote the great ones of history, Marcus Messiah Garvey, and we can go on and on and on. And they're all great, and we should quote them. But, beloved, we say, oh yeah, if I would have been around at the time of Moses, I would have been walking with Moses. That's what we say. If I would have been around at the time with Brother Malcolm, man, I would have been right there by his side. That's what we say. Well, let me tell you something, beloved. We have a man on this planet today who is the equivalent, if not greater, when you understand the kind of forces that he's up against. And his name is Louis Farrakhan. Hear me, beloved, hear me. Believe me, beloved, this man is so hated by the enemy. But that man has been standing firm. Listen to how long this man has been teaching. Did you know that Prophet Muhammad only lived to the age of 62 years? The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been teaching black people for 64 years. 64 years. And sometimes I hear some fools who want to question this man's credibility or his credentials or his integrity or his fearlessness. Minister Farrakhan says on occasion, he says, I'm a free black man. I want any of you, I want you to introduce me to a free black man. See, Minister Farrakhan, they told him, you can't go to Libya. If you go to Libya, when you come back, we will arrest you. The minister goes to Libya, comes back, they can't touch him. They told the minister, you can't go to Iran. The minister goes to Iran. They threaten him while he's over there. The minister comes back. They shut their mouth. Let me tell you something, beloved. Understand something about the Nation of Islam. I'm a soldier in the Nation of Islam. That's my leader and teacher. That's my father, my spiritual father. See, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, if he gave the order tomorrow, I'm telling you, Brother Leo Muhammad is on the front line. Hear me well. And I'm not one of the really serious zealots. We got some zealots in the nation. No apology. But you see the minister, beloved? I want you to tell me the black man that you know who could call for 1 million men And 2 million show up. And when the 2 million show up, he doesn't say, well, look at this. We're going to march on Washington now. We're going to go and do some craziness. We're going to, look at me, I'm Farrakhan. No, he says, to God be the glory.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You know, I used to be very, very close with Brother Lennox Lewis. Do you know the heavyweight, the former heavyweight champion of the world, Brother Lennox? You know him?
Yes, sir.
You know him? Me and him were very close. I would go to his home and visit with him or whatever, and he always gave me ringside seats for his fights. And I went to his home to visit him. He's a big man. I looked at his shoes. He had a pair of boxing boots in his front room. They look like skis. I've never seen shoes so big. It was ridiculous, beloved. That man could never fall over. Apart from the night he got knocked out. But Lennox is my friend. But I'm waiting in his room, in his front room, for maybe 20 minutes before he makes the appearance, because he's the man. He's the big man in his big house. And when he comes into the room, he makes an entrance. I've been in the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's home in Chicago. And lots of important people come into the room, and when they come in, you are aware of them immediately, because they're big and they're important. But the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan came into the room. I didn't even know when he came in. He is the humblest human being I have ever met in my life. Some of us feign humility. We think we can walk around and pretend that we're humble. We ain't humble. Minister Farrakhan is humble. And I'm saying, beloved, please, I don't want you to make a mistake today. Because we are hypocrites if we keep talking about people in the past and say what we would have done and how we'd have been with them or whatever. But here we got a man today. And the minister don't make no distinction like, oh, he's just for Muslims. When he called the march, most of the people came were not Muslims. Most of them were Christians. And they were Pan-Africanists and nationalists from all over the planet they came, beloved. So Minister Farrakhan is not that kind of partisan religious leader. We ain't into no religion. In the Nation of Islam, we ain't religious. Religious people do their religion on a day. Christians go church on Sunday, get holy. Muslims go mosque on Friday, get holy. Jews go synagogue on Saturday, get holy. And for the rest of the week, it's pure madness and mayhem. We don't do that kind of religion. We're members of the Nation of Islam. We practice what we do 24 hours, 7 days a week. We say what we mean and we mean what we say. What you see in front of you is what you see behind our closed doors. Or so it should be, brothers.
Yes, sir.
So it should be, brothers.
Yes, sir.
I'm saying all of this, beloved, because I'm going to introduce the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And I want us to just observe the man from last week's Saviour's Day event for a brief time, and just to take in some of it, because I want you to understand that there's something about Minister Farrakhan that you don't know, that you don't understand and you don't appreciate, that in every season, Almighty God, the creator of the heavens and the earth, the energy that comes from time immemorial, every season he produces one for the people. And in this season, his name is Farrakhan. And this man represents us on the world stage. And I want all of us to have a different mindset when it comes to this man. And so I would implore you, beloved, please, please, just watch and listen to the best of your ability to the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We're going to go in very late into the lecture, and we're going to watch near the end of the lecture from last week, just so that we can get a feel for this man and understand who this man is, because this man is very, very precious and very, very important, not just to the nation, but to all black people. And he stands in the face of a vicious enemy who has killed black people for just thinking what he says. 85 years old. And I'm imploring you, beloved, we have no excuse today. Back in the day, we have to go to a DVD and all go and find a VHS. It's on YouTube, man. In the comfort of your own home, tune in and take in that lecture. And as my brother, I think one of the brothers said before, watch it a few times. Because there's so much science and there's so much information and there's so much knowledge, wisdom and understanding to be gleaned. Because you know, everybody's talking about Jesus, all the Christians, Jesus. I'm telling you, man, we know Jesus. And Jesus, we ain't talking about 2,000 2,000 years ago. And even the one 2,000 years ago was a black man. I'm not going to do what I wanted to do, because again, this isn't about an ego. This ain't about some ego tripping. And in fact, after that man spoken, I don't have to say anything. And Brother Dean said it. All of the speakers who came up talked about Exodus. And I'm saying, brothers and sisters, even though you may feel quite comfortable where you are at the present time, it doesn't matter where you are. When the fire breaks out, people leave. And there is a fire about to break out. And we're not talking necessarily about a physical exodus immediately, but the exodus must begin here, where we no longer have a black skin and a white mind. Amen. Too many of us think like the enemy. And we've got, you know, these young brothers, do you know that they're looking for leadership? Do you know that they turn to one another to guide one another because they don't see no black men, strong, fearless? And so I'm appealing to the elders in the room. Don't start talking this nonsense like, oh, you're getting on. 85, and he's outworking most of the FOI in the Nation of Islam, if the truth be known. And so we have no excuse, beloved. By the way, don't be falling down with no cancer and all of these illnesses. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, be very careful what you put into your body. You've all known me for years. You've seen me on the Real McCoy going back 25, nearly 30 years. Look at me. You might wonder, how come this man don't seem like he's aging? Because I don't look like no old, decrepit man falling down. And I'm way over 25. But there's something about the diet. There's something about the way we eat in the Nation of Islam. And I'm imploring you, beloved family, get on the diet. Take care of yourself. Put only the best stuff inside of this, because this is the house of God. Some of you drove up here today and your car says unleaded fuel only. You have never ever once thought, let me just try a little paraffin in my car. Unleaded fuel only. You never ever once thought, let me try like a diesel. You wouldn't do it. You follow the manufacturer's instruction for optimum use from that vehicle. Well, guess what? We come with manufacturer's instructions. And we must only put the best in this. And love this. Because Bob Marley said, this is my vehicle, it's my only carriage. And I've got to push on through. Very, very quickly. Exodus, movement of your people. Listen to the lyrics of that song, beloved family. It's saying that we've got to move out. In the scripture, in the Bible, it says, come out of her, my people. Be not partakers of her sins and her plagues. Whether you appreciate this or not, Brexit is representative of the fall of Britain. They are tearing each other apart, and it's not about to end pretty. These people know nothing about privation. I don't know if it was Dean when he was up here was talking about sufferation. Do you understand that these people don't know nothing about suffering? When you hear white people talking about them broke, they got 100,000 in the bank. When black people say them broke for real. Our grandparents and our parents were juggling what to buy this week and what them can buy this week. And our generation, the youth now are juggling. And I'm saying, beloved, that when the supermarkets get empty, and that day is coming, and you think that you're going to share the queue with the Caucasians to go, no, 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 no. You see, when they see you in the queue, that's chocolate. You think you're going to go and knock on your next door, oh, could you spare some sugar? No, no, no. When you knock, that's sugar. They don't know nothing about privation and suffering. Where we will starve. You see the African with a swollen stomach, and the child with the swollen stomach and the skin hanging off the bones, and you never see them resort to cannibalism. They bury the child, then the parents die, and they bury them, and they suffer in silence. Caucasians don't know nothing about suffering in silence. Aeroplane crash. Within 3 days, them young the pilot. They ain't going hungry for no one. You tell them, talk to them about fasting. See, me, I fasted for 7 days. I fasted for 21 days. I fasted for 30 days. I fasted for 40 days with no food. Tell that to a Caucasian. You must be mad, mate. I can't wait to get to lunch. That's how much they got to eat. And where we can go without, they can't, beloved. And I know that you think you're so integrated and we're so in now, and some of us think we've arrived. Did you know that the Bosnian people thought that they'd arrived? And it was in an instant like that, the next day their neighbor was killing them. And these were two Caucasian people that you couldn't tell the difference other than maybe a language. This is how real it gets. And so, beloved, you and I, we've got to understand that this melatonin that we have within this skin is very, very special. We're very, very special people, and we must not so integrate into a system that's burning and falling and corroding that we will go down with her. Be not partakers of her sins and her plagues. Exodus, we've got to come out, and it starts here. It's a thinking. Whenever you see brothers, you young brothers, let me tell you something. From this day forward, when you see another black brother, even if he's giving you some crazy looks, don't indulge in it, brothers. Walk on. When you see your brothers, don't get into this foolishness on the road, man. Do you know how easy it is to lose your life today? Do you know how many young brothers are in the cemetery and others in the prisons for taking life? And I've been to the prisons and visit them. And guess what they're doing? They got their head in their hand. The bravado is all gone. Because these people are losing them in these places. Life in prison. And you ain't coming out. And before you come out, you've got some disease. AIDS. And you're using spice and all these other crazy drugs that's just messing up your head. The weed that you young brothers are smoking today, it ain't the weed that we were smoking. This stuff has been chemicalized to destroy you. You can't think straight when you engage in this. Keep yourself clean. Keep yourself upright. Start to study. Learn about your future. Learn about yourself. Because the future belongs to you. It belongs to you. Thank you. I'm not going to say anymore. Yes, sir.
I'm going to say one thing.
Yes, sir. No, you talk too much on the ground.
Because I never had enough time, I just wanted to let people know that P.O.W.E.R West London has been the principal security for the march every year.
Every year for the last, this is 6 years now. This year, 6 years.
And they've been staunch supporters and defenders to protect our people. So the security is not there to secure us against us. It's to secure us against those that will come to try and destabilize what we're trying to do. So I just want to give them a massive round of applause.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Quick litmus test. Quick poll. Who's going to be at the march this year? Even if you've never been to the march. Remember what Kwaku said. Remember what he said. The march, we're not marching begging, oh, white people, treat us good. It's not about that. The march is just to show black people from disparate parts of the world coming together. It's about our solidarity. It's about us showing that we are a people who are united together. And the enemy don't want to see that. That's why the march is important. So 1st of August this year, Brixton, to Parliament, come out, beloved. It's a wonderful, wonderful event. And when you see them white people, when we get up to Westminster Bridge and they see us, you want to see them fierce. It's a wonderful sight to see. Because you can see some of them puzzled. What's all this then? Because they don't know. They have no idea that there is a whole segment of society that's been forgotten. And we've got to let them know, no, excuse me, we're here. And we have no intention of going anywhere. Did you know that this belongs to us? I don't even want to go there, not yet. I really thank you, family. Thank you for your time. Thank you for paying attention to the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And please go home and study for yourself. This is the day when we must become students. We must be humble enough to recognize that we don't know. And if we don't know, then we are in a position to learn and to know. Okay, family? Thank you so much. Please, at this time, put your hands together and welcome back to the front our beautiful Brother Errol Muhammad.
A new breed of 50. Alright, here we go. What's happened to maturity? Bring wisdom, knowledge and security. Much more understanding and surety. Cause you qualified, certified, you arrived. Don't say if I knew then what I know now. It's time for you to bust, now you know how. Never say that it's too late. Got what it takes, can still be great. There's a new breed of 50. Somehow we are move kinda swiftly, yeah. We don't think about retire, but that with the fire. Think like that you'll expire, hey. There's a new breed of 50. Somehow we are move kinda swiftly out. We don't think about retire, but that with the fire. Think like that you'll expire. What have it really been about? Learning life lessons just to fizzle out. Now that you're older, time to go harder, strong and you bolder. Still so much to be done, don't give up. Aim for the sky, light it up. Get your desire, hot up your fire. Live to inspire, yeah. There's a new breed of 50. Somehow we are move kinda swiftly, hey. We don't think about retire, burn that with the fire. Think like that you'll expire, yeah. There's a new breed of 50. Somehow we are move kinda swiftly out. We don't think about retire, burn that with the fire. Think like that you'll expire. I know you reach the last furlong. Round the bend, see the straight, now you hold on. More control, flying high, going head on. Set the foundation so others can get on. So that the work of your hands, so you live on. Just like a star in the end, you explode. Showers of light, and my cup overflow. Them lights still aglow, there's a new breed of 50. Somehow we are move kinda swiftly out. We don't think about retire, burn that with the fire. Think like that you'll expire, hey. There's a new breed of 50. Somehow we are move kinda swiftly out. We don't think about retire, burn that with the fire. Think like that you expire, yeah. Brothers and sisters, have a blessed Saviour's Day. Yeah, look after one another. Let's learn to look after each other. Give thanks.